All right, welcome everyone. We're going to get started. I'm Dr. Janet Roark, and this is a session about essential oil safety for animals. I am very passionate about this topic, and I cannot believe I have never done this presentation before. So you guys are seeing this for the very first time. So welcome everyone. Welcome everyone live. Hello to everyone watching the replay. So good to see you. Tonight, we are going to talk about essential oil safety for animals. Our agenda for this evening is we are going to start off with talking about how to use essential oils with animals. Then we're going to cover essential oil safety by animal species. So we should cover most of the species tonight. Obviously can't cover every species in the whole planet, but the more common ones that are used as pets or that are in people's homes or on their farms. We're going to cover some myth busting, and some of you may have heard this before, but there are a lot of things out there, especially on the internet, that you shouldn't necessarily believe about essential oil safety and animals, and some things that you should believe. Then we're going to just briefly cover do's and don'ts, things you should do and things you should not do. And then we're going to end up tonight with how to make a perfectly diluted roller bottle. So I'm going to make one for pain tonight with you guys. So grab your essential oil supplies if you have them, and we can do that together. I'm going to show you guys how to make a perfectly diluted roller bottle for your animals. So a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am Dr. Janet Roark. I am a veterinarian in Central Texas. I have 4 dogs and 4 horses and all sorts of a menagerie of animals throughout my life. Also have a snake, Draco, who is 25 years old. So when I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian ever since I was 5. I remember getting on the bus to go to kindergarten, and I was sitting with my friend Mandy, who also wanted to be a veterinarian, because a lot of kids when they're 5 years old want to be a veterinarian. And we came up with this amazing plan to work together, and she was going to be the large animal vet and I was going to be the small animal vet. And I just really never changed that, except for a mixed animal. So, but at the time she had lived on a farm and had cattle and all sorts of things. So that was just what made sense at the time. And I never stopped wanting that for myself. I've never strayed from that dream. When I was 16 years old, I got a job as soon as I could, working for the veterinarian in my little town. I grew up in a little town called Langsburg, Michigan. You could live 30 minutes from there and not know that it exists. There's only about 1,200 people in the whole town. My graduating class was a big class that had 86 people in it. And from there, I was college prep in high school, and then went to the University of Findlay, which is in Findlay, Ohio, where I triple majored in pre-veterinary medicine, equestrian studies, and biology. I also have a minor in chemistry from the University of Findlay. And I was also working 3 part-time jobs during that time to help pay for college and to learn more. And because, I just like to do way too many things. When I graduated the University of Findlay, I applied to several vet schools actually, and was accepted into Michigan State University. I grew up in Michigan, and so that is where I went to veterinary school. I graduated vet school in 2005. I know it's hard to believe. How could I be a veterinarian for 18 years? I look like I'm 26 still, but that's the Zoom filter. But yeah, I've been a veterinarian since 2005, and I started using essential oils for my own health because I was really struggling with a lot of problems, such as really bad headaches and depression. And a friend of mine reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested in learning about essential oils?" And I said yes, because I've always been really interested in alternative type medicines like acupuncture and chiropractic work. And then after a lot of use with the essential oils and tons of studying for months and months and months, I actually started using essential oils with my own animals and was really thrilled with the results. So I started actually using them in my practice and became the essential oil vet in 2014. So pet owners actually turn to essential oils for their animals when their current approach to health is not getting the results that they're looking for. They also turn to essential oils when they don't want to use toxic chemical concoctions. They're overwhelmed with all the natural options out there. They want to increase their overall quality of life and the longevity for their animals. The animals are dying way too young these days. And they want to be empowered, maybe not to have to run to the veterinarian for every little thing, especially since getting into the veterinarian these days is a little bit harder than it used to be, since everyone is so jam-packed with clients and things like that and emergencies. And of course, when you don't have to run to the vet for every little thing, you actually save a lot of money in the process. So what are essential oils? Essential oils are aromatic compounds that are found in the seeds, bark, stems, root, flowers, and other parts of plants. They are steam distilled or cold pressed in the case of citrus oils, and pure essential oils are actually 100% natural. There's no synthetics in them. They're made up of hundreds of different constituents. So there's all these different molecules that make up one essential oil. And all these different molecules help to make it really, really unique and very helpful to cells. Cells actually recognize these molecules and can utilize them in the body. So that we can help our animals this way from all the way down to the molecular level by using essential oils. And it's very similar to medications are the same thing. They're larger molecules that have to be broken down into smaller molecules, and then those molecules then interact with the cells, and you get the reactions that we do to try and help make them better. So molecules are amazing. Essential oils are secondary metabolites of plants. And what that means is that the plants actually produce these. They don't produce essential oils to survive. They are not required for photosynthesis or anything like that, but plants will produce them to help with pollination, to ward off insects, and all sorts of other things to help the plant thrive. So it doesn't help them live, but it helps them thrive. And so we can actually harvest these and utilize them ourselves for some of the similar ways that plants use them. Essential oils are actually 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. And I love herbs. They're so beautiful and amazing and gentle. But there are some things that herbs can't do. And it's really nice to have that extra tool in your toolbox to help our animals by using essential oils. Unfortunately, not all essential oils are created equal. The problem with the essential oil industry is that there's no industry-wide standard. Essential oils are not regulated like other things, like food and other things. So we have this problem where essential oils are distributed through one or more brokers, and the true source and composition of that essential oil is often unknown. They're often cut with synthetics, or they're cut with cheaper fillers or oils, which means there might have been a little bit of pure essential oil in there, but they add a whole bunch of stuff to it to help make it last a little bit longer. And they could still charge as if it's pure, but they're filling it with cheaper stuff. The problem with this, especially when it comes to our animals, is that synthetic oils and fillers are very often unsafe or even toxic to pets. We know that synthetics are hormone and endocrine disrupting. And when we interrupt those communications in the body, those hormones and the endocrine system is how the body communicates with itself. When that's interrupted, we start to see problems. We start to see disease. So how do we fix this? We need to work directly with farmers, test the composition of the essential oil and the quality of the essential oil during and after distillation, both in-house and by a third-party lab for accountability. So what about adulteration? A lot of people will talk about adulteration when it comes to essential oils, and this is really important when it comes to safety for our animals. Normal aging can actually cause some normal adulteration. So you want to check the bottom of the essential oil bottle for an expiration date. There should be a little expiration date on the bottom of your essential oil bottle. This is really important because essential oils, once they're opened, they can actually undergo an oxidation process, and that actually changes the molecular structure of some of the constituents in that essential oil. The other thing that can happen is through a normal aging process is something called resinification, which is when the oil gets very, very thick. It increases in viscosity, and it makes it really, really hard to use. We don't want to use oils that are old or outdated. Usually about 5 years old is kind of the rule we go by as far as that goes. So if you have essential oils that are older than that, go ahead and throw those away and get some new ones. It's time to get some new ones. The other thing to consider is what your essential oils are being stored in. Are they being stored in plastic? Are they being stored in a glass bottle or a metal bottle? What kind of metal? Is it stainless steel? Is it a steel that's coated in paint or plastic or lacquer? Those sorts of things all matter because the essential oils can actually break down some of those compounds and cause leaching of those things into the pure essential oil and actually cause some adulteration there. Synthetic fragrances is the big one, and this is so common in the world today, and it makes me so sad. We have what I call perfume grade essential oils that smell a certain way, and we even have the perfuming industry that wants essential oils to smell a certain way so that it's a consistent smell, but from batch to batch, because they're using them in things like candles and that sort of thing. And so these perfume grade, when they're looking for a certain scent profile, this is not the same thing as using essential oils for therapeutic purposes, because they'll add different compounds to that to make it smell a certain way. And we absolutely don't want that when we're using them for our animals. Those things that they're adding to that essential oil are actually causing all those problems that we talked about earlier. The other thing that is very common, and we mentioned it already, is stretching of oils. So people will put solvents in them, foreign substances, carrier oils, other cheaper oils, and we know this happens, and it happens very frequently. A lot of times it happens at the source, at the distillery. So the essential oils are distilled, and then the people at the distillery are actually diluting them out and then selling them to these big companies that are buying the essential oils in bulk and then putting them in smaller bottles and selling them to the customer. This is a really big problem because the big companies, they might get a report from the distillery saying, oh, it's pure, but that was before they added all that stuff to it. And they aren't retesting it in-house or by a third-party lab. And so this is where the majority of adulteration occurs. We know this occurs all the time. It's very, very common in the essential oil industry. It's actually expected in the essential oil industry because lavender oil exports, especially in Europe, actually far exceed the production capacity based on the plants that are harvested and the typical yield of that particular plant. Which means of all the lavender that is produced, you can harvest all of it and it won't make the amount of lavender oil that is actually being exported. The same thing happens with bergamot. There's far more bergamot oil that's being sold than the amount of bergamot oil that could possibly be produced. This is bad. This is bad. And we definitely don't want to use those essential oils on our animals, right? At all. The other thing that happens a lot is the cheaper oils are used to replace the more expensive oils. And this is really common with lemongrass and Melissa. A lot of Melissa essential oil has been tested. That's on the market today. And almost none of it actually contains melissa, or it might contain a small amount of melissa, but the majority of it is lemongrass, which smells similar, but obviously behaves very, very differently from a chemistry standpoint. So there's all this adulteration that happens, and I'm not telling you this to scare you, but I'm telling this to educate you so that you can be wise and smart about what you use. The brand of essential oils that you use absolutely matters. They should be doing testing on every single batch of essential oil and not just trusting that the distiller did it and whatever they sent them is correct. So the GCMS, which stands for gas chromatography and mass spectrometry, this is the gold standard testing. It's a very basic test. It is the very bare minimum of what essential oils companies should be doing. And you should be able to contact the company and get that report. If you can't, I would question that particular company's testing. There's tons of other testing that's available and should be done, like FTIS, chirality testing, microbial testing for contamination of bacteria, virus, fungus, and mold. Heavy metal testing, contamination testing for things like pesticides and chemicals, optical rotation, refractive index, specific gravity, organoleptic assessment, stability testing, and so many more. So knowing all of this, why would we use essential oils? Essential oils actually provide health-conscious individuals with a safe and natural alternative. They're used for a wide range of emotional, behavioral, and physical wellness applications. They have very few, if any, undesirable side effects when they're used properly and they're diluted properly. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. One drop is all that's needed to achieve a powerful benefit. The other cool thing about essential oils is that they can be used with other modalities like herbs, homeopathics, and even medications. The thing that makes them different from those things is that essential oils are what we call lipophilic, which means they are fat loving. So they can actually pass through the skin and transdermally, we call it, and actually absorbed into the skin and into the body without having to be digested, processed, or anything like that. The other thing is that the molecules are very small, and because they're lipophilic, they can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and impact the brain in a really positive way. Even just inhaling the essential oil can affect the olfactory system of the animal and go into the brain, and the limbic system in the brain is associated with the emotional and memory centers of the brain. So we can really help with focus. We can help with behavior, especially things like anxiety and that sort of thing with our animals using just aromatic use of essential oils. So how are we going to use essential oils with animals? I just mentioned aromatic use. This is a picture of Pippa enjoying the diffusing in her home. And Pippa is owned by one of the members in our community. She's absolutely adorable, and her owner is just incredible too. So aromatic use is one of the ways we use essential oils 3 ways with animals: aromatically, topically, and internal. So some of the ways that you can use essential oils aromatically is 1, through diffusion. This is by far the most common. Get yourself an awesome diffuser, and I'm going to tell you a way you can get it for free, and then add your essential oils to it. You want to make sure it's a water-based diffuser that has water in it, and then add a few drops of essential oils to it. You can spray it into the air. There's different room sprays and things like that. There's recipes all over the internet that you can grab. You can use direct inhalation by letting them smell the oil straight from the bottle. You can put a drop on a cloth or on a cotton ball, or even on their bedding in their kennel, or on a halter for horses, and let them smell it that way. That's still an aromatic use because you're not applying it topically. You can also do hot water and steam. This is a little more advanced. The easiest way to do this is turn on the shower in your bathroom really, really hot, especially for small animals. Put a couple of drops of essential oils on the floor of your shower, and then bring your animal in there for a few minutes to breathe in the steam within your bathroom after you left it on for a little while. You can also use a humidifier that is safe to use with essential oils. Make sure it has a space for using essential oils with it. There's a lot of humidifiers out there with cheaper plastic parts, and you don't want to use those humidifiers with essential oils because the essential oils will actually break down that plastic, and we don't want to breathe in those chemicals. You can also put essential oils near your fan or on your air filter in your home for whole home aromatic use. Topically, you can do essential oils. Always dilute them. We're going to show you guys how to do that. And you can apply them by direct application, by patting along the spine or even patting your pet backwards and applying it that way. Lots of different massage techniques out there. You can use reflexology points, which for small animals is around in between the paw pads. And for large animals, it's around the where the hoof and the skin meet or on the cornet bands. So you can also use ear tipping. This is really helpful for kitties and puppies. You can apply it directly to the area of interest. If you have a bruise or a bump or something like that, you can apply it directly to that. You can use a couple of drops of essential oil in the shampoo or conditioner of your choice. And you can do hot or cold compresses. This is where you take 2 cups of hot or cold water and a few drops of essential oil, dip a cotton cloth in there, wring it out really well, and apply it directly over whatever it is that you're wanting to use the compress on. Red eyes with a little bit of lavender and a cold compress is very, very helpful. You can apply hot, warm compresses to abscesses to help them come to a head as well. The other ways you can use oils topically are with a roller bottle or a spray. This is the most common, and we're going to show you how to do that tonight. The last way you can use essential oils with animals is internally. We are going to use this in a limited fashion, except for large animals, you can go a lot more. But no more than 1 or 2 drops at a time. You can mix it with their wet food. You can put it on a yummy treat. You can put it in a capsule, topped off with a carrier oil like olive oil and give it like a pill. You can rub it on their gums. That actually constitutes internal use because of the vascularity of the mucous membranes, and they just absorb very, very quickly into that. And then you can also make a natural toothpaste. So 1 drop of essential oil in 2 tablespoons of baking soda, or 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of bentonite clay, and enough coconut oil to make a paste. You can make your own toothpaste with that. Super easy and very, very cheap. This is Stella. She's a great case that happened in our community as well, where she actually had bladder stones, and we were able to get her taken care of, and just with a holistic approach to this dog's health, completely dissolved the stones. It was pretty incredible. Very large stones, and we have the x-rays to prove it. So dilution. We talked about dilution briefly, but we're going to say definitely with our small animals, especially, which is dogs, cats, rabbits, other small rodents, reptiles, those sorts of things. Always start out more diluted when introducing essential oils topically to your pet. There's a lot of different carrier oils you can use. These are not essential oils, but like fractionated coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, almond oil. There's a lot of them out there. I personally really like to use fractionated coconut oil. That's just the easiest. And it's very, very convenient to use because it doesn't have a smell. All the other oils have a little bit of a smell. Fractionated coconut oil does not. And so you can get the full aromatic benefit of the essential oils when you use fractionated coconut oil. You can always increase the concentration of your dilution if your desired effect is not reached, or you can apply it more frequently. But it is difficult to remove an essential oil once it's already been absorbed, and they are absorbed very, very quickly. So every animal is an individual, and your animal might be a little bit more sensitive than others, or it might be less sensitive than others. And you're going to be able to get a feel for this the more you use essential oils with your animals. Just observe their behavior, and they will absolutely tell you. So let's review. There's 3 different ways you can use essential oils with animals: aromatically, topically, and internally. Aromatically, diffusion, spraying into the air, direct inhalation on a cloth or bedding, in a fan or air filter, or even in a humidifier. Topically, we're always going to dilute it before we apply it, especially for our small animals. Direct application to the point of interest, massage techniques, ear tipping along different meridians or reflexology points, if you know where those are, with a hot or cold compress, or even petting along the back. Internally, you can use essential oils mixed with food. 1 drop is usually enough. You can put it in a capsule topped off with carrier oil. You can rub it directly onto the gums on a yummy treat. And we're not going to actually use essential oils internally with cats because they're going to get the oils internally when you apply it topically through normal grooming practices. So let's talk about essential oil safety by species. Starting with dogs. Essential oil safety for dogs. Topically, you're going to use proper dilution based on the size of your dog. Aromatically, you're going to use a safe diffusing protocol, which is in a water-based diffuser. You're going to make sure you leave the room door open. You're only going to use 3 to 4 drops of essential oil in your diffuser, and you're going to put it in a place where it cannot get knocked over by your animal. Internally, you're going to use caution when giving oils internally. Always make sure that the oil is safe for internal use. And one of the easiest ways you can check that is you can actually check the side of the bottle to see if it has a supplement facts label on it. The supplement facts label is an indication that it is safe for internal use. If it doesn't have that, I would use caution using it internally. Only certain brands can be used internally. Let your dog smell the unopened bottle. So you're going to keep the bottle tight and that cap on, and you're going to introduce the essential oil by letting him smell it with the cap on. And then if the oil is one that your dog likes, maybe they're trying to lick it or they want to sniff it some more, and they're giving you a positive response or a neutral response, maybe they don't care at all, then you can definitely use that essential oil with that dog. Avoid using oils topically on the nose, in the ear canal, down into the ear canal. Never drop it down into the ear canal. In the eyes or around the genitals or anus or any other sensitive areas. Do not apply oils topically at the same time as topical medications, and that does include flea and tick preventatives that are used topically. You can give use essential oils topically if the flea and tick preventative is internal. Okay. And then of course, don't give any product containing xylitol. Xylitol is very toxic to dogs and cats. This includes toothpaste products, mouthwash products, or any essential oil beadlets that may contain xylitol. There's a lot more out there, but know what the ingredients and the products are, especially if they're formulated for people, before you actually give the products. So there are some oils that you want to avoid using topically or internally with dogs. Those are birch, tea tree oil, and wintergreen. Do not use them topically or internally. People will ask me if they can diffuse these particular oils, and the answer is yes. And you can actually use them in cleaning around your home and that sort of thing. And you can certainly use them on yourself, but just make sure your dog isn't licking you if you're applying it and that sort of thing. And make sure it's in a well-ventilated area. And then use caution with hot oils such as oregano, cassia, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, or thyme. I would probably put peppermint in this category. Just make sure you're diluting it a little bit more heavily for these ones if you're using it topically. And then if you're diffusing any of these, stick with 1 or 2 drops of these and maybe add something that's a little more gentle to it, like lavender or citrus oil or something like that, just to keep the smell a little bit more muted. Essential oil safety for cats. Topically, we're going to use proper dilution for cats. That's a 0.5 to 2% dilution. And aromatically, you're going to use that safe diffusing protocol again, the same as with dogs. Internally, we don't usually give essential oils internally to cats. Oils applied topically will be ingested during normal grooming behavior. Let your cat smell the unopened bottle, just like with the dog. And if they like it and they give you a positive response, maybe they rub their face on it, or they're very interested in what you're doing, or they give you a neutral response, it's okay to use that particular oil. Avoid using oils topically on the nose, in the ears, or in the eyes, or around the genitals or anus. Of course, you can still do the ear tipping with kitties. That's totally fine. But down into the ear canal is what we want to be avoiding to protect that eardrum. Don't apply essential oils topically at the same time as topical medication, and don't give any of the products containing xylitol. Same as with dogs. So the oils to avoid topically and internally with cats are the citrus oils: birch, tea tree, peppermint, and wintergreen. Peppermint is just a little bit strong for cats. You can use a little bit of spearmint, that's totally fine. But even that, peppermint's just a little bit strong. You can use it. I'm not going to say it's not safe, like compared to tea tree, which can cause some neurologic symptoms if you use too much of it. But I've had a couple of cats not really have great responses to peppermint when it's used too much or not properly diluted. Citrus oils are not dangerous to cats, but they really don't like them as a general rule. So diffusing, totally fine. They don't particularly like these topically. I will make an exception for bergamot on some cases when there's a behavioral problem that we really, really want to address, and and the cat really likes bergamot. So citrus oils is on there, not because it's dangerous, but mainly because cats don't particularly like citrus oils as a general rule. And then, of course, use the same caution with hot oils like cassia, cinnamon, clove, oregano, rosemary, and thyme. These are essential oils that if you apply them topically, you will want to dilute very, very significantly. I have used some of these topically as just, a 0.5% dilution is all you'll need for those guys. Diffusion, you'll just want to be, again, 1 or 2 drops in your diffuser, and then add some of the more gentle oils with those particular oils to make a nice diffuser blend that is not too strong. Birds and poultry. Birds and poultry. Chickens and turkeys and ducks are really tough and really like essential oils. Your smaller indoor birds, your caged birds, tend to be a little bit more sensitive, but they're actually do pretty well with essential oils too. Their sense of smell is not as developed as say, dogs or cats even. So they can really tolerate a lot and can do really, really well. We can really help our little chickens and things like that with our essential oils. So topically, we're going to use essential oils with birds via water misting is my favorite. And this is where you use maybe 10 to 20 drops of essential oil of your choice in a 4-ounce spray bottle of water. Make sure you shake it well before each use, because the oils will just sit on top of the water. Remember, they're lipophilic, which means they're hydrophobic. So they sit on top of the water, and you'll have to really shake it up before you spritz them with it. And then aromatically, you can use 2 to 3 drops in a water-based diffuser. Monitor the bird for the first 10 or 15 minutes of diffusing, especially if it's a new oil. But they can actually do really well. They just have a very sensitive respiratory tract compared to other species because they have air sacules. Internally, this is my favorite way to use essential oils with birds. You can actually mix it with feed. You can put it on a treat and have them eat it that way. 1 drop per 5 pounds of feed is usually plenty. You can also mix it in water, just 1 drop per liter of water. Just remember that the essential oils will sit on top of the water. They won't necessarily be mixed throughout it unless you add an emulsifier or a dispersing agent. Don't place the diffuser directly next to the bird enclosure for small habitats or really not ventilated enclosures. If you have a nice, well-ventilated area, you don't have to worry about that as much. And then use caution when diffusing your hot oils like oregano, cassia, cinnamon, clove, some of those. There are some oils that are commonly used with birds. There's a lot more than what's listed here, but the citrus oils are ones that I really like to use with birds, especially if they're not out in the sun a lot. These can be really, really beneficial. You can also use these internally. I love using the calming oils like lavender, Roman chamomile, and copaiba, frankincense, helichrysum. I'll use oregano and thyme internally with these birds to help be more of a preventative in keeping them healthy throughout their life. Rabbits, guinea pigs, and other small animals that you want to use a little bit of caution with because they're so small. They're small and they're hindgut fermenters, which means they're very susceptible to having digestive problems if their delicate bacterial balance inside their gut is disrupted. So use caution with some of these oils that might disrupt this bacterial balance. And when in doubt, just add a probiotic to their food every day and you're going to be good to go. So aromatically, you're going to use 3 to 4 drops total in a water-based diffuser in a well-ventilated area. If it's an enclosed space, just do 2 to 3 drops instead. Internally, you can use 1 drop per liter of water. Again, just remember that the oil is going to sit on top of the water. It's not going to be mixed throughout. So it's not my favorite way to use essential oils internally. You can also mix a little bit of diluted oil in with their food as well, or put it on a treat that they really like. Topically, you can use proper dilution for small mammals. 0.5 to 1% is typically what I use for these little guys. And then use caution when diffusing your strong or super hot oils such as cinnamon, clove, oregano, and even tea tree. I consider a little bit of a stronger oil for these little guys. Oils that are commonly used with small mammals, there are obviously others, the citrus oils, your calming oils, and frankincense. Reptiles are some of my favorites. I told you guys I have a snake. I've had him for about 25 years now. Tortoises, geckos, snakes, bearded dragons, and many other reptiles can greatly benefit from using essential oils. We use them a lot in the Austin Aquarium, where I am one of their consultants. So use caution with smaller reptiles. So the smaller, you want to use more caution and more dilution. So for topical use with reptiles, you can do water misting, water soaks. You can use ointments, oral flushes. I've done quite a few oral flushes with mouth problems and snakes. These are just amazing tools for these absolutely wonderful creatures. Proper dilution, 1 drop of essential oil per 10 to 30 milliliters of carrier is imperative. So this is really important in that that's a big range, I know, but the main thing is the bigger the animal, the less dilution you need. The smaller the animal, we're talking about little teeny tiny geckos and baby snakes and things like that, you'll want to use a more dilution. Aromatic use, you can diffuse, very highly effective for these guys, 2 to 4 drops in a water-based diffuser in a well-ventilated area. And you can be very proactive and preventative by using essential oils when cleaning their enclosures, their habitats. So the oils you want to use caution with are the pine oils primarily, and essential oils that are commonly used with reptiles. There are many others. I've used almost all of them. Citrus oils, copaiba, frankincense, helichrysum, lavender, oregano, Roman chamomile, rosemary, and tea tree is very commonly used with reptiles. Amphibians, you want to use extra caution with these guys because of their specialized skin and how they respire. So frogs, salamanders, and newts are very sensitive to essential oils. Water diffusion is pretty much all that's preferred, with only 1 to 4 drops of essential oil in a well-ventilated area on an intermittent setting. So I actually would keep the diffuser away from an amphibian enclosure like at least 4 feet away. Water misting is acceptable with a toothpick drop of essential oil per liter of water. So like dip a toothpick in the essential oil, dip it in the water, swirl it around, and water mist them that way. And then use a lot of caution with your hot oils like clove or oregano. But there are a lot of essential oils that you can use around amphibians: the citrus oils, copaiba, frankincense, helichrysum, lavender, Roman chamomile, and tea tree. Tea tree is very commonly used to clean enclosures of these guys, and it's very effective even at 5%. Fish, I get asked about fish occasionally. So just remember that clove essential oil sedates fish. So use caution with it. Some fish do not do well with clove. However, essential oils can really be beneficial for fish as well. Some essential oils that can be safely diffused around fish, there are many others, but copaiba, frankincense, citrus oils, tea tree, even peppermint, lavender, and Roman chamomile. Just remember with fish, if you're diffusing around them, the oils that you'll get little micro droplets on the surface of the water. And how they get the oils is they'll actually go up and actually ingest those little droplets. You can't actually mix it in with the water very well. It's not very effective unless you have some kind of dispersant, and then you have to make sure that's safe for fish. So I recommend just diffusing a few of the droplets getting on their water. If it's not completely enclosed, is totally safe. And diffusing these in a room that has an aquarium is totally safe as well. For large animals like horses, cattle, and goats, and you can include hogs and llamas and alpacas and all of those guys in this category as well. Topically, you're going to use caution and proper dilution for hot oils. Gentle oils may actually be used undiluted, or what we call neat. Neat is undiluted. And aromatically, you're going to use topical application primarily, but you can also use essential oils on a halter or on a fence or in, a couple of drops in the stall, and use essential oils that way. Via aromatic. Some people actually diffuse in their barns, especially in the winter time. If it's not freezing out, they can actually get some great benefits from that. But topically, if you put some carrier oil on your hand and a few drops of essential oils and rub their chest or their throat, that acts as a natural diffuser for themselves. So they're kind of like breathing it in. And so they're getting topical application, but they're also getting that aromatic benefit when you apply it in that way. Internally is a great way to use essential oils with large animals. You mix it with their feed, or you can put a few drops in a dosing syringe or an oral syringe, and top that off with something that they don't mind the taste of, like with horses, applesauce or molasses is a great combination with a little bit of water, and squirt it into their mouth that way, like you would dewormer or something like that. So just make sure that the oil that you're using, which oil it is safe for internal use. How we're going to introduce essential oils to these large animals is you're going to let the animals smell the unopened bottle. You're going to use that oil if the animal gives a positive response, and you're going to avoid using oils topically on the nose, down into the ear canals, and in the eyes or around the sensitive areas like the genitals or anus. Do not apply oils in the saddle area prior to riding, and do not apply oils right before you're going to give them a bath, because the water will drive the oils into their tissues very, very quickly, and it can be a little bit irritating to their skin. Do not, got a little ahead of myself there. Do not apply oils after bathing while your animal is still wet. Caution should be used around animals that are pregnant, nursing young, or on certain medications. Observe your animal's behavior when using or applying essential oils. And in the very rare event of an adverse reaction, just dilute that where you put it with a carrier oil, not water. Remember, water is going to drive it deeper. You're going to dilute it with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or olive oil. Skin irritation is the most common adverse reaction that we see, and most reactions resolve within 24 to 48 hours after the essential oil is applied. So very quickly. So let's do some myth busting. You may have heard that essential oils are toxic to pets. Maybe that's why you're here. You're like, I've heard that. I don't know what's true. So essential oils are toxic to pets, and other things you shouldn't believe on the internet about essential oils and animals. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you don't really need to believe everything you hear on the internet. I know everybody knows that. Okay, So quick story about my friend Wanda. Wanda was afraid to use essential oils in her home. So she has 5 cats. She said, I have 5 cats, all different and each with their own unique things going on. I was so leery about using oils at all with my kitties until this class. Thank you for sharing your knowledge like this. I feel 1,000 times more confident now in using the oils and in knowing which is better for them. So Wanda took one of my courses and she felt so much better using essential oils with her kitties and around her kitties because of this training. And I'm hoping that you guys will all feel the same way after this. So myth number 1, diffusing around pets is dangerous. I just told you guys like all this stuff about diffusing. The truth, that is not true, by the way. The truth is that essential oils are potent. And the truth is that pets have millions more olfactory receptors than humans do. And something called a vomeronasal organ, which humans do not have, which is important in their olfactory system. This makes them sensitive to very strong smells. And diffusing around pets is actually an excellent way to improve their health on a regular basis, both their mental health and subsequently their behavior and their physical health. So what you're going to do is you're going to use a water-based diffuser. There's a ton of them out there on the market on an intermittent setting. And you're going to leave the room door open so they can leave if they wish. You're going to only use 3 to 4 drops in your diffuser at a time. Research has actually shown that diffusing lavender in kennel shelter situation provides an extreme calming effect on those animals and makes them more adoptable. Myth number 2, never pet your dog or cat after using essential oils. The truth is essential oils applied topically can actually help them. And now you guys know how. You can apply it along the spine, on their ear tips. The truth is that smells can linger on your hands for a little bit longer. And so washing your hands after applying essential oils is actually not a bad idea. So you don't actually get some peppermint in your eye. I don't know, has anybody ever put peppermint in their eye accidentally? I was applying peppermint one time to, I don't remember if it was myself or an animal. And then I went to put my contacts in my eye and I had to take them out immediately and wear my glasses that day because it burned so bad. So again, no essential oils in the eye. It really hurts and we don't want to hurt our animals. Just know that essential oils are volatile, which means they quickly evaporate at room temperature and they absorb very quickly into the skin. So chances are they're not actually getting any on the actual animal after a couple of minutes. But if it's a strong oil like peppermint, it's not a bad idea to wash your hands after applying so you don't actually accidentally get peppermint in their eyes. Myth number 3, insert oil here is harmful to cats or dogs. I've heard it all. Citrus oils are toxic to dogs. Pine oils are harmful to cats. If you diffuse lavender oil, your cat will die. It's more common than you would think. So there is actually no science or basis behind any of these claims. I've looked into it. I've tried to figure out why all of these claims happened, and usually it's based on bad science or somebody's taking something very out of context, or people are not using pure essential oils. Okay, so cats actually do lack a liver enzyme that's important for metabolizing certain things. So it's not a bad idea to use a bit more caution with these little guys. The truth is that essential oils are perfectly safe to use in your DIY cleaning, diffused in your home, or even diluted and used topically with cats and dogs. Remember, we're going to use caution with tea tree, birch, and wintergreen, topically and orally. And if your cat has an underlying respiratory problem, use more caution with strong smelling oils like peppermint, eucalyptus, oregano, or cinnamon. Myth number 4, using essential oils around pets can cause liver or kidney damage. Anybody else hear this one? The truth is that certified pure tested grade oils actually support the liver and support the kidney. Research has shown, and blood work on many, many cases that I've consulted on, that some essential oils are actually what we call hepatoprotective, which means they support the liver, or they're nephroprotective, which means they support the kidney. I've seen case after case that has actually improved when using essential oils. Their blood work actually was bad, and then it got better because of essential oils. The problem is that liver failure and kidney failure in general are very, very common in pets, regardless of essential oil usage. And when something happens to their animal, people want something to blame. They don't want to just be like, well, my animal just got it all of a sudden, and that it just happens sometimes, and we don't know why. So they want something to blame when this happens, and essential oils can falsely get accused in a lot of these cases. I could get on a little soapbox about what I really think is going on. Usually it's nutrition, but we don't have time for that today. Myth number 5, if my pet gets too much essential oil, they will die. The truth is this is very, 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 very rare. The literature shows that only 1 case of death has occurred over the past 15 years. And this was tea tree oil used in a very small dog, less than 10-pound dog. And the owner actually used the equivalent of 2 bottles, 30 milliliters of undiluted, not just 2 drops. We're talking 2 bottles of undiluted tea tree oil as a flea treatment for that dog. And he started to have a reaction. He'd already absorbed too much and they couldn't save him. So the truth is that ingestion of very large amounts of essential oil, whether it's accidental or intentional, if your cat chews off a top that you had sitting on the table and knocked it down and drank some of it, it's possible that they could have an adverse reaction. Essential oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. The most common adverse reactions that we see are mild skin irritation. Most of these reactions, even the very severe ones, like muscle tremors or even seizures, resolve within 24 to 48 hours of exposure once the oil is removed. You're going to use some caution, and you're going to discontinue the use of an oil if your pet shows any signs of distress: drooling, squinting, vocalization, shaking, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle twitching, etc. Always dilute with a carrier oil if you're applying topically. And if it's something that they accidentally ate, you're going to feed that animal and include a fat like coconut oil or milk or yogurt to help dilute that oil internally if they get it internally. Keep the lids on your bottles, store them in a safe place like as a closed box or in a drawer to prevent your pet from accidentally borrowing one of your oils, and that should help. So let's talk about essential oils do's and don'ts. Do only use pure, unadulterated essential oils. Do dilute essential oils prior to topical application. Do diffuse around your pets. They can greatly benefit. Do observe your pet's behavior. Use caution with nursing or very young animals. Use a water-based diffuser instead of one that pulls directly from the bottle. Do introduce essential oils gently to your pet. Do store your oils safely, and do find a holistic veterinarian near you that can support you. Don't be afraid to use essential oils. Don't use plain water to remove an essential oil. Use a carrier oil or milk instead. Don't apply large amounts of essential oil at one time. Always remember, more diluted, more frequently is better than less diluted, less frequently. Don't use essential oils at the same time as a topical medication. Don't worry or panic if you have an adverse reaction. These are very rare and they resolve very quickly, usually on their own. Don't use oils in the ears, on the nose, in the eyes, or other sensitive areas. Don't use tea tree, wintergreen, or birch with small animals. Totally fine with large animals. Don't add essential oils to your pet's water dish. Remember, it sits on top, and we never want animals to stop drinking water. And don't ever stop learning. There are some oils that are phototoxic or photosensitizing oils. Don't use these ones in direct sunlight or around UV rays. These can actually burn the skin. They actually make it a little bit more susceptible to sunburn. So these oils are bergamot, cumin, grapefruit, kumquat, lemon, lime, tangerine, and wild orange. The worst one of these, as far as phototoxicity, is bergamot. Bergamot is very, very highly phototoxic because of the chemicals that are in it. So this one's better to be used diffused or used internally to just avoid those topically if your animal goes outside a lot. If it's an indoor kitty or an indoor dog, or you have a lot of shade in your area, or you live in Washington, probably fine. If you want citrus oil benefits without the worry of phototoxicity, use green mandarin. Green mandarin is an excellent, excellent oil that does not have the phototoxic chemicals in it. And it has the same beautiful benefits as the citrus oils, and it smells so good. A lot of dogs really like that one. If you have an animal that is prone to getting seizures, there are some oils to avoid completely that's even diffused. Those are rosemary, camphor, eucalyptus, fennel, hyssop, pennyroyal, sage, wintergreen, and wormwood. If you have a pregnant animal, there are some oils to avoid as well. They're listed here on this slide. I'm not going to read through them all. There's so many. The big ones are arborvitae, basil, birch, wintergreen, cassia, cinnamon, rosemary, and thyme. If you have an asthma animal, an animal that has asthma or respiratory difficulties for some reason, this is tricky because pretty much anything can trigger an asthma attack in any person or animal. And it's very individualized. And some animals do fine with all of these, and some might be a little bit more sensitive to something that's not even on this list. So just keep that in mind. Some people have really had a lot of benefit from diffusing eucalyptus with asthma, for example. And some have actually, it's triggered an asthma attack. A lot of it has to do with the purity of the oil though, guys. Okay, so keep that in mind. So oils to avoid, this is what's in the literature. So I'm just sharing that with you. Marjoram, rosemary, camphor, oregano, and yarrow. And I have eucalyptus and peppermint on here as well because they're very strong. And I think quality is a big factor there, but it is in the literature. So I'm going to list them here for you. All right, let's take a few minutes and make a pet safe roller bottle. We're going to use this using the Essential Oil Vet Dilution Guide for topical use. All of you should have gotten a copy of this. If you haven't yet, you'll get it tomorrow. But we're going to actually show you guys how to use that. So remember, one of the bonuses for signing up for this is you got the Essential Oils and Safety for Pets guidebook. The dilution guide is on page 15 if you have that handy. And so using the dilution guide, we're going to gather our supplies. The first thing we're going to do is grab our essential oils. I grabbed frankincense and copaiba. We're going to make a little pain roller bottle for my doggies. So I've got my essential oils. I've got my carrier oil. This is fractionated coconut oil, one of my favorites. And I've got a roller bottle here. This is a 10 milliliter roller bottle. And what we're going to do is we're going to prep it. You can, this is one that has like the non-drip top, so you can actually pop that off pretty easily. If you're having a hard time getting those off, you can get a little key to actually pull that off right here. Listen, can't see. Pop that off that way. So we're going to get that open. We're going to open our essential oils so that they're super easy to access. And we're going to open our fractionated coconut oil bottle. And I have a little paper towel here that I'm going to be putting them on. So. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our roller bottle. You can get a little funnel. I just got this from Got Oil Supplies if you're worried about spilling, or you can dump it directly in there if you're really careful. And I'm just going to be careful. And we're going to use our correct dilution percentage for your animal. Check out page 15 of the safety PDF to find this information. So we're right there. So this is going to be for my dogs, and these are very gentle oils. So I'm going to actually use a 3% dilution for these guys, or we'll do a 2% dilution actually. So we're going to add the correct number of drops of each essential oil to the bottle as indicated on the dilution guide. So for a 2% dilution in a 10 milliliter roller bottle, which is what we're going to do 4 drops of each essential oil and then top it off with a carrier oil, and then we're done. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to do 4 drops of copaiba. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 drops of frankincense. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to top it off with fractionated coconut oil. This is the hard part. So just do a little bit at a time with that to fill it up. We're going to pop this back on, wipe off any excess, put the cap on, label it properly, and voila, we have a perfectly diluted roller bottle of frankincense and copaiba at 2% dilution. What do you think? You think you guys can do that on your own? I think you can. I believe in you. All right, and then close up your water. Close up everything because you don't want to get it contaminated. And remember, essential oils are volatile. You don't want it to evaporate. All right, so that wraps things up. I do have a very special invitation for you all, and that is to join me on an incredible journey as we give our animals the very best care they need to live happy, healthy, and longer lives naturally. And the way you can do that is to join the Essential Oil Vet membership. The Essential Oil Vet membership is for you if you are tired of being told that medications are the only way. If you're tired, if you want to help your pets live a healthy lifestyle and not just try to fix things when there are major problems. This is for you if you don't want your pet to be a cancer statistic or be able to help them if they do get diagnosed with that sad diagnosis. This is for you if you want your animals to live their happiest, longest lives possible. And it's for you if you want to save money on vet bills by not having to run to the vet for every little thing. So what do you get as an Essential Oil Vet member? You get monthly Zoom webinar trainings. Check out what our awesome webinar training is for this month. And if you're not sure, just shoot me a message and I'll tell you. Weekly open Q&A, members only Zoom meetings with me, Dr. Roark, where you can ask your specific questions about your specific animal and learn from other animal owners that love their animals just as much as you do. There's over 700 essential oil recipes, protocols, and videos in the membership portal, which is on the website. It's not on social media. There's a species-specific whole health guidance that's provided. So when you have questions about your nutrition, I'll absolutely help you with those as well. Arborvitae to Zendocrine. We have essential oil and supplement spotlights throughout the year. So you know exactly how to use each of your oils safely and effectively with your animals. And when something new comes out, we train you guys on it. There's tons of other bonuses that are exclusive to members. Bonus number 1 is an affiliate opportunity. This is totally optional, but up to you. And members get up to 20% on commissions. Commissions if somebody joins the membership or signs up for one of my other trainings or the challenges or a certification course that I have. Bonus number 2 is a private Facebook community access. This is totally optional. It's not required. But this is our great community where you can see cute photos of everyone's animals, ask questions. If you want something a little bit faster, like you don't want to have to wait for the weekly one, you can ask your questions and get feedback from other members of the community. And you can learn from your friends' experience in the supportive Essential Oil Vet membership exclusive Facebook group. Bonus number 3 is that members have an inside scoop on discounts and freebies. So you guys get first access to all of that stuff. There's also an annual plan bonus where you'll get a free digital copy of the Essential Oils for Pets guidebook, which is a 97-page book with recipes and protocols specifically for cats and dogs. So you get full access to the membership portal where you can search 700 pages of recipes, protocols, and thousands of previously answered questions. You can come to the Ask a Vet, get your burning questions answered directly from me every week. I answer 100% of the questions that are posted in the Ask the EO Vet portal. You'll also get exclusive training. You can be proactive with your animal's care. And we cover issues like pain, anxiety, allergies, cancer, arthritis, and even more in the monthly webinars that we do in there. So to become a member, you just go to essentialoilvet.com/members. And just as a recap, here's what's included in the Essential Oil Vet membership. You get monthly Zoom webinar trainings. It's worth $100. That's actually worth more than that. Ask the Vet weekly member only Zoom and QA meetings. That's a $497 value. Membership portal, over 700 pages of recipes, protocols, answer questions, and more. $497 value. Bonus number 1 is the affiliate opportunity, where you can get up to $50 per referral. Bonus number 2, private Facebook community access. We kind of put a monthly value of that on $97. That's kind of the average going rate for this type of community. And bonus number 3, you get an inside scoop on discounts and freebies. We put like a $49 value on that. And that's being very conservative. So all of this together is over $1,200 value per month. And you can get all of this for just $27 a month. You also save even more with a biannual or annual membership, and you get that extra bonus with the annual membership as well. So if you'd like to join the EOVet membership today, come on over to essentialoilvet.com/members. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you are more confident using essential oils with your animals. And some of you might be like, what? I don't even have essential oils. What do I do, Dr. Roark? So stay tuned, because if you already have essential oils, you can go ahead and hop off, but you can stay with me for a bonus segment here. It'll only take about 5 minutes, where I will talk to you guys about what brand of essential oil I use and trust with my own animals and in my practice, how to find and order my recommended starter set of oils. And I have a very special one-time offer if you don't have essential oils yet and you order today. So I actually use doTERRA essential oils. doTERRA, there's a lot of reasons why I chose doTERRA, and these are just a few. The number 1 reason is that there's actually a veterinary education committee full of veterinarians that are great at educating all of you in using essential oils and animals safely, especially doTERRA essential oils. So why we use doTERRA is that not all essential oils are created equal. We talked about all the different fillers and contaminants that can happen. Sourcing matters, quality matters. Sourcing that doTERRA does, they actually source in the location in the world where those plants actually thrive the best. So the chemical constituents of that essential oil are actually the most therapeutic. They also pay the farmers a fair wage and will help in impoverished communities as well. They have a really amazing Healing Hands program and co-impact sourcing. So everything is sustainably sourced and sourced via fair trade. Very high quality essential oils. Testing matters, right? Testing matters. doTERRA runs over 54 different tests on every single batch of essential oil and provides those results publicly. You can actually access those GCMS reports by just typing in the lot number online. This transparency in testing matters. There's very few other companies that do this, if at all. Integrity matters, both the integrity of the people selling the oils, I include myself in that category, and the owners of the company as well. And I actually know the owners of this company personally, and I can honestly tell you that they're beautiful, amazing people that really, really care about people. They care about animals and they care about you. The other reason to choose doTERRA is because support and education matters. And doTERRA is really, really big on education and support. And if you order essential oils through me, then of course I'll be your support person and your personal essential oils person. And that really matters to you because you'll get the best benefits and the best support. So here are some essential oils that I use daily, every single day with my animals. And these are my three goobers. Miles, Violet, looking straight at the camera there with her head sideways. My little girl, she looks bigger in this because she's standing up. And Lucy's my big girl, who's my senior girl. And she is, those are three of my four dogs. So these are the oils that I use every single day with my horses, with my dogs. And back when I had Tina and she was still with us, I used them with her as well. So frankincense, turmeric, copaiba, I give these internally to my dogs every single meal. Aroma Touch is our massage blend that's great for after walks. I really love this for horses with any kind of swelling or anything like that. Very, very good for supporting the musculoskeletal system. Balance, this can be used topically daily for grounding, for calming, and for supporting during stressful situations. Cedarwood is also very calming, and it's my favorite thing to use for getting rid of pests like fleas and ticks. Digestin is one that I use. I don't use this one every single day necessarily. I mean, you should with horses, but this one is used a lot because Miles, for example, ate a little bit too much chocolate that I accidentally left out yesterday. So he got a lot of Digestin today every 2 hours. Stronger is a blend that supports the immune system and can be really, really helpful in also any kind of situation where your animal might be around other animals or in a boarding situation or going to the daycare or a show or something like that, where they're interacting with other animals where you might not know their immune status. And then, of course, lavender, which is you can be used for everything calming, including calming the skin, bug bites, thunderstorms, fireworks, that sort of thing. So these are oils that I literally use every single day with my animals. And we have a very special promotion if you order by Saturday, where you can get an extra free oil. So if you order a 100-point order, PV just stands for personal volume. It's kind of the number of points assigned to each product. So 100 PV order, you'll get a free citrus bliss, which smells like orange creamsicle. It's the most delicious, beautiful blend ever. And then if it's a 200 PV order, you'll also get that frankincense, citrus bliss, and an adaptive roller, which is extremely good for extreme stress situations and sleep. So what else do you get with this kit? Well, there's some like non-tangibles here as well. Anybody who orders this kit through my link will get a free wellness consultation with me. This is a $497 value, 25 to 55% off retail pricing with a no obligation wholesale membership. You do not have to purchase ever again if you don't want to, although you probably will want to. Support product training and like-minded friends. You will actually get text and messenger access to me if you're using my link, and a welcome gift from me, exclusive offers, exclusive customer Facebook group, and more. If you're already working with another doTERRA person, please reach out to them and see what they have to offer instead. So if you order the Daily Oils Starter Kit that I just mentioned, all the oils that I use with my animals, if you order it by Saturday, and you'll actually get a free frankincense, free adaptive, and free citrus bliss. And you can grab that today by going to essentialoilvet.com/daily kit. This will last you a good long time. This is not something that you're going to have to order every week or anything like that, but go to essentialoilvet.com/daily kit. Once you order, you can schedule your consultation with me. If you're still not sure and you have some questions and you do not have a doTERRA account yet, you can text me. Please respect this, guys. I don't want you guys splitting my text. If you're already a doTERRA member, text me and I'll help you find the perfect thing for you and your animals that's within your budget if you're on a budget. So you can actually do that. This is my personal number, 512-529-1733. If you're in the United States or Canada, you'll get those free bonus oils if you order by Saturday the 9th to get those free oils. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me for this extra little bonus session. I hope you enjoyed the presentation today, and I cannot wait to work with you. Bye, everybody.